Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this is a narration of a message that I received. The narration of that message reads like this. Hello brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? So my brother, my story, it goes on like this. There was a time in my life when I just grew tired of being poor. I didn't want to be poor anymore. So there was only one solution, and that solution was like for me to go visit a traditional healer and do those money making rituals. That was the easiest thing for me to do. So what I ended up doing, brother Nash, is that I found one who was willing to give me those money making rituals. After I had found him, then whilst we were in his consulting room, I had already paid him the money. He then said that it was quite easy for me to become a ritualist, and the process, it was quite easy, but there was only one missing puzzle, or there was one piece that was missing to the puzzle so that I can start making money already. I said, what is needed for me to become a millionaire? Because money was all that I was asking for from him. He then said that we need to have your mother's private part, and he showed me this other clay pot, and he said that once we have managed to get hold of your mother's private part, then we are going to place it inside this clay pot, and we will be using your mother's private part so that you can be earning money. So my brother, when he told me that there was my mother's private part that was needed so that I can start earning money, for a moment I said, what am I supposed to do? Should I go ahead and just sacrifice my own mother? But brother Nashi, that was out of the question. I started thinking about the way that my mom had raised me, how much she had suffered, and I thought that this was the wickedest thing that anyone can do, to sacrifice their own mother. But that traditional healer, after I had asked him how exactly was I supposed to get this private part that belongs to my mother, he then said that was quite easy, because already he had a gang, and this gang, all that they will need is some money, and he was going to give them the go ahead so that they can go out there and kill my mother. And when he said that killing my mother, he never meant like my mom was going to be killed in the spirit, no, like physically. He told me that this process had to be done physically, and they had like to cut off her head, remove her body parts, and for me the most important part that was on her body would be a private part, and they had to remove her private part. Like when she is still alive, they had to cut out the flesh on her private part so that the charms can be working. He said that at the time when she will be alive, the pain that she would feel when they will be cutting her off, like cutting the flesh from her private part, that is the pain that he was looking for so that the charms can start working. Brother Nashi, when I heard this story, it was just too much for me, and I said, no, I cannot do it anymore. So I just rose up from where I was sitting, and I told him that I was walking out of his consulting room. He then said that, don't you know that my shrine is very powerful? My ancestors, they are very powerful. If you walk out of my shrine and if you dare to disrespect my ancestors, then you are going to pay a heavy price for ever disrespecting my ancestors. At that time I said, no, I don't care anymore. All that I wanted was to get out of his place. So my brother, I then rose up and I asked him for my money, and he said, no, with all the things that I have showed you, with all the things that I have done for you already, then I cannot give you anything. So I then walked out of his consulting room thinking that this was just over. There was nothing that was going to follow me like spiritually. But brother Nashi, after I had left that old man's house, then I started to experience a lot of problems. The problems that I was now experiencing, it was even before I had gotten married. Usually what I would see is that there was this other woman who used to visit me at night. Each and every night, this woman that she would visit me, she would be wearing a black dress. As for her face, I will not be able to see her face because there will be sort of like a shadow, a black shadow that will be covering her face so that her identity can never be revealed to me. I started to suffer a lot because this woman, what she will do is that she would come to me, then she will say, look at the food that I have prepared for you. So if I would try to refuse to eat the food that she would have prepared for me, then she will start fighting with me and she'll be screaming at me like, why don't you want to eat the food that I have prepared for you because I am your wife? And sometimes what would happen is that when I would say blood of Jesus, sometimes then this woman, she will disappear, but sometimes I won't even be able to open up my mouth so that I can like say blood of Jesus. This thing, it went on for a very long time, Brother Nashi, until I then chose to give my life to Jesus Christ. So even in that church where I went and I gave my life to Jesus Christ, that is where I ended up finding the woman whom I ended up getting married to. But I'm still suffering, Brother Nashi. Now it is far much better. But when I started staying with my current wife, what would happen is that when we would be fast asleep, usually I would actually look at my private parts. Then you would actually see that my manhood, it will be so erect as if there is something that will be going on. Even at the time when I was staying alone, my private parts, when I would wake up after seeing that woman that used to attack me at night, then I'll see something that would look like then when I would look at my private parts, it would be like there was a hand that will be playing with my private parts. You could actually see the movement of the skin that is there on my private parts, like the way it does when a woman is playing with you. So, Brother Nashi, these are the consequences that I faced simply because I wanted to become a money-making ritualist. I know that what I did was very wrong, but at the end of the day, sometimes when I feel so bad about my life, but I just tell myself that at the end of the day, I didn't sacrifice my mother, because that traditional healer had made it very clear to me that all that he wanted from me was my mom's private parts, and he wanted to have my mom killed in cold blood. So I could not even think of that, like someone going to kill my mom, then harvesting her body parts. That is what I refused to do. And after I had refused that, then that traditional healer saw it to be fit to punish me the way that he punished me, Brother Nashi. My life, when I look at my life, you can just see that if it was not by the grace of God, things were going to be very bad, even though right now things are actually quite bad. But I can say that by the grace of God, I am able to manage a good life. And I'm thankful that my wife, the one that I got married to, she is someone that is totally understanding, because she sees all the things that happen to me. Like sometimes when I wake up and when I suffer from those sleep paralysis, my wife knows about everything, but she tries by all means so as to help me to pray. It is not an easy thing for my wife. I know that when she wakes up and then she sees that your husband's manhood will be fully erect, and there will be even movement on his manhood, which will be showing that he is having intercourse with the spirit. It is a painful life that she is living, but I want to thank God. God made me to link up with her, and she is more like a pillar of strength to me. So I have come here, Brother Nashi, to warn all of those people that think about going to get those money-making rituals. There is nothing good that comes out of it, because the moment that you go into those people's consulting room, they are going to punish you if you do not take their charms, like the way that he punished me. So I lost my money that I had saved up, as well as losing up like my life. I can't even enjoy my life at all because of that demon of a woman that attacks me at night. Dear listeners, right there was a message that I received from one of our listeners. Then we tried by all means to gather up the story and to give you this narration, hoping that you were able to understand the story.